providing that. That's
Senator
fine.
Waters, you have a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, folks. Can you confirm that with the approvals by LATS, the government has not taken off the table allowing state governments to assess environmentally damaging projects that their own state agencies or their own state-owned corporations are proposing?
Senator, in relation to the scope of the approval bilateral agreements, we're going through a process of looking at the different processes that states and territories propose or put forward for accreditation, and in relation to the types of processes that are put forward for accreditation, for example, in relation to the New South Wales and Queensland draft approval bilateral agreements, the decision-making processes involved would be the decision-making processes that are in place in relation to those state and territory processes.
So that's yes. That's yes, and I know that, but can you say that on the record?
Yes,
Sorry, Senator.
yes, Senator.
Yes, thank you.
The fundamental point there is that the transparency of the arrangements and the standards that are met through the arrangements are the points that provide reassurance to the community that the standards are being met by the states in assessing their own projects.
220 workers.
As is the case where the Commonwealth currently assesses projects that might be led by Commonwealth agencies such as defence, airports and such things.
Sure. On page 58 of the PBS, a key performance indicator against outcome 1.5 is that, quote, all new policy initiatives within the portfolio are supported by a RIS to cost and offset any potential regulatory burden placed on individuals, businesses and the not-for-profit sector. Can I just clarify, does this mean that even if we have a need for new environmental regulation, that you will not proceed unless you find a corollary regulatory burden to ditch?
Well, I might just I'll respond, Senator. That's a general requirement from the government under regulation approaches to find regulatory offsets for a regulation that's imposed.
So new law in, old law out.
No, not necessarily. Well, maybe that, but if there's a cost to a new law, then it has to be met by
A regulatory burden.
a reduction in regulatory burden or compliance burden.
Okay,
elsewhere.
so you're not allowed to increase the environmental standards. Is that
No,
correct?
it's a more complex. It keeps the environmental standards, but there's an additional criterion, Senator.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Waters. Senator Ruston, you have the